Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Manchester United vs PSG match preview. Before we get into anything, as usual, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well if you are new around here, and get your score predictions or any comments in the comment section down below. I love reading what you guys have to say in your predictions, so please do get your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you're not watching live, of course, we go live all the time, so if you want to make sure you don't miss a live video, make sure to hit that notification bell as well to make sure you're notified every time we go live. And as you can tell, I'm not live at 9 o'clock. Usually 9 o'clock is the ultimate time for me to go live, but today I thought I'd do a little bit earlier for you guys, so hopefully I'm not keeping any of you up. And if you do want to get involved, and maybe you can't get involved because of usually the time that I do it, now, obviously, it's a bit of a different time, so maybe we'll have some new people on, who knows. But to anyone that comes on, always appreciated, always great to get a variety of different people on to chat about their views, because realistically, as I've said many times before, I can only say my opinion so many times, and then it kind of gets a bit boring. I want to hear what other people have to say. I want to debate with other people, really. So, as I said, if you do want to come on, and I will be opening up the floor to guests as I usually do, make sure to come in the streams, and I'll put the link in, and you can join. And that's as simple as that. No need to contact me before the stream or anything like that. No need to follow me or anything. Just be here when we start the stream, and when I put the link in, you can join. So that's as easy as that. But we're going to talk about PSG first and foremost. Welcome, Kobe. Thanks for joining us always, man. Really appreciate it. Hope you're having a very, very good Tuesday evening. I know there's some Champions League action going on right now. I think the games are just kicking off. I think Liverpool are playing Ajax. I think if they avoid defeat against Ajax, they do progress through to knockout stages. And United are very much in the similar position. We're on the brink. We're on the brink of qualifying for the Champions League knockout phases, out of a group which a lot of people probably didn't expect us to do well. A lot of people didn't expect us to qualify out of this group. A lot of people were laughing at us, saying it was a bit of the group of death, obviously having a Champions League semi-finalist and finalist in our group. But the way it's panned out has been pretty plain sailing for United, other than the 2-1 defeat to Istanbul. But other than that, it's been very, very positive indeed. And if we win this game, we go on to 12 points. And depending on what happens in the Leipzig game when they take on Istanbul, we're pretty much home and hosed. We're pretty much home and hosed. And even a point to get us on to 10 points would probably be close enough to qualifying. Obviously, there'd be a few scenarios where potentially we couldn't qualify. But obviously, because it's done on head-to-head rather than goal difference, I think if we do get that point, we should be fine. We should be all right. But obviously, if we win the game, it means that we're pretty much guaranteed to qualify in first place as well. I think Leipzig would have to beat us by 6 goals to cancel out our head-to-head record. So, yeah, obviously a win tomorrow is absolutely massive, and it just means that we can put to bed that game against Leipzig and maybe play a few of the understudies, maybe play, rotate the squad a little bit, because boy, are we going to need to start rotating the squad, especially in the busy Christmas period. Welcome, LSR for Ringside. Welcome, Owen. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. But yeah, as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if not as many people turn up tonight. Obviously, it's a bit earlier than usual. But yeah, as always, get your comments in, leave your thoughts on the live chat on anything I say, what you think about what I think. But yeah, PSG. We're going to start with PSG, and in the first leg, well, not the first leg, the first time match day 1, we played in Paris. PSG didn't play that well. I mean, we nullified PSG. We played a very, very good game, almost a perfect game, really, apart from the own goal. But PSG, they were nullified. Their front three of Di Maria, Mbappe, and Neymar, they couldn't get a sniff. Neymar in particular was really underwhelming in my opinion. Mbappe did get a few chances and forced a hair into a few saves, to be fair to him. And Di Maria looked lively, but Neymar was completely shut down in that game, had very little influence whatsoever. And that's how you beat PSG realistically. If you nullify Neymar, you're fine, because he's the guy that all the play goes through. He's the guy that wants to take the ball and create. It's kind of like for us, he's the same player as we have for Bruno Fernandes. He's kind of the equivalent of Bruno Fernandes in our team, where if you nullify him, then they're going to find it very, very difficult to create chances. And also coming to this game with a few injuries, obviously Icardi and Sarabia won't be coming to Manchester, as well as Draxler and Juan Bernat as well. So 4 first-team players there who won't be playing for PSG. Obviously, when we beat PSG as well, a lot of people were saying that they didn't have a full-strength squad as well. So, this time they won't have as much of an excuse, but they'll still have injuries, so they won't be at full fitness. But obviously, as long as they're there, Verratti is back as well, so that he could be a difference maker. He's a very, very good player, someone who will occupy that midfield, and is very good at kind of rotating in midfield, taking the ball from the defence and then, just kind of ticking it over, keeping the team ticking over, kind of like what Donny van de Beek does. Welcome, K-Si, as well. Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining, mate. Kobe says, when PSG played Leipzig, they only won by a pen. Yeah, I mean, this season in the Champions League, PSG have been poor, really. I mean, obviously, as you said, that win against that penalty they got against Leipzig was so crucial in the end, because if they were sitting right now with 3 points, then realistically they weren't going to be able to get out of the group. So that penalty has proved massive for them. But as I said, if they don't get 3 points from this game, I think they're out. I think they're bound for the Europa League, because even if they get a point, we'll be on 10 points. They'll be on 7. And realistically, Leipzig are going to beat Istanbul. I don't think Leipzig are going to have a problem putting away Istanbul. So if Leipzig win, then we'd be on 10, they'd be on 9, and they'd be on 7. And so they could catch Leipzig potentially if we were to go out and beat Leipzig. But I wouldn't be surprised if it did plan out like that. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of an arranged draw with 2 weakened teams between us and Leipzig. But we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when it comes, because obviously we're talking hypothetically. But yeah, I think PSG haven't been great in the Champions League, and that will obviously favour us. They're only 2 wins coming against Istanbul and Leipzig, and they seem very fortunate to beat Leipzig. Istanbul, obviously, they ended up winning the game. I think quite late on. Actually, I think they scored 2 goals quite late on in the game. So yeah, PSG this season, they've been up and down. They're still top of Ligue 1, which tells you all you need to know about Ligue 1. But they come into this game off the back of only 2 wins out of their last 4 games, and they drew to 13th place Bordeaux on the weekend as well, blowing a 2-goal lead. They're not in good form right now. They really aren't, and I think it's probably the best time to be playing PSG. So I'm looking forward to the test. I'm not saying I'm really confident about it, but I'm looking forward to the test. I think it's going to be kind of similar in ways to the Southampton game, I think, because PSG are a side who like to press high. They'll need to go, they'll need to go for us. They'll need to get goals. They'll need to win the game. So they will leave so much space in behind, and we were able to really get at that PSG backline last time we played them. So hopefully this time as well, when they start throwing men forward, we can exploit that with the pace in behind. Redbanks TV, thanks for joining, appreciate it. Imagine sending PSG down, obviously, to the Europa League. That would be unbelievable. I mean, I reckon if they lose against us tomorrow, I think Tuchel isn't going to be in a job for that much longer. I think realistically at PSG, the league is pretty well just standard. Like, you just win the league. If you're PSG manager, you win the league. If you don't win the league, I mean, you've had an absolute shocker. The Champions League is where it's at. They haven't won a Champions League. They got so close last year. But if they get relegated to the Europa League, Tuchel's gone. He's gone. We will. I think for me, if we beat PSG tomorrow night, we won't only get 3 points, but we'll sack their manager as well. We will sack Tuchel if that happens. Obviously, I don't know if it's going to happen. I feel like we can. I feel like there's definitely a possibility. As I said, the perfect time to play PSG. But I think if we do beat PSG, realistically, they're not going to get out of the group. Down, at least into the Europa League. I think Tuchel is gone. I really do think Tuchel is gone. Kobe goes with 3-1 United. I like that positivity. Love that positive prediction. And Rich, thanks for joining Rich Sports. Make sure to check out Rich Sports as well if you haven't already. Just imagine Cavani scoring the winner. It's written in the stars. I'm hoping it's written in the stars for Edinson Cavani to get his goal. In the form he's in right now, it seems like he's scoring with every shot he takes. So no-brainer for me that Solskjaer has to start Cavani in the game. And I think start a very similar front line. I think we were talking on Rich's preview. If you want to check that out, please do. Really good. Really enjoyed that with a few other guests on there as well. But But yeah, we were talking on there about what front line we should play, and I think most people are agreeing that we should play a similar front line to the one we started against. Who was it? Southampton. I can't believe I had to think about that. But yeah, Southampton on the weekend, and in the second half at least. Obviously, when Greenwood came off, Martial apparently is a little bit of a doubt to play in this game, but could feature. Although for me, if Martial's not 100% fit, there is no point in playing him, in my opinion. If Martial is not 100% fit and raring to go, I don't see any reason why we need to put him in the team, especially when we've got the likes of Greenwood and even someone like Daniel James potentially to fill in. So, I think if Martial isn't 100% fit, and apparently he did train today, so that is a good sign. But if he isn't 100% fit, then I think we should probably look at playing Greenwood, Cavani, and Rashford as a kind of front three, as a fluid front three as well, because we saw for the goal that made it 2-1 that Bruno Fernandes scored, Cavani was actually playing on the right hand side, and Rashford was more through the middle. So it's definitely a more fluid situation up front, especially when you've got Greenwood, Greenwood, Rashford, Martial in there as well, Cavani. They seem to all play just anywhere across that front line, which is really, really good because you've got that versatility. And if defenders start getting comfortable with certain, defending certain strikers in certain positions, you can just change them around and make it a lot more difficult. So obviously it's good to have a bit more of a fluid situation, especially against this PSG backline, who realistically, we could have scored a few more goals. If we took a few more of our chances in Paris last time out, we could have won that by a few more. So hopefully we can exploit the space in behind that they'll leave when they do start committing men forward. Hopefully we can do that. But again, we have to defend well. It's not just about scoring goals. It's also about defending. Owen says Cavani and Martial up top, but if it doesn't work, sub Martial off at half time. As I said, listen, I think starting Martial is definitely an interesting option, especially because he was ill in midweek apparently. He got sent home from training on the I'm not sure, was it Monday he got sent home from training? I'm not sure, but that's what I heard anyway. But if he's not 100% fit, then I wouldn't play him. I think, especially in this congested part of the season, the worst thing you can do is play players who are injured or not 100%, because it'll just make it worse. And we need the depth of our squad in this Christmas period. Every squad needs the depth. And obviously we've got a bit more depth now with the signings that we've made. But the worst thing you can do, and we saw it with Rashford, we brought Rashford on, I think it was against Wolves last season, and he clearly wasn't fit. I think he still had a back problem. Obviously then he gets a little knock in the back, and then he's out for 2-3 months, and all of a sudden you've got a key player out who realistically didn't need to feature in that game. So I really am not a fan of playing players who are not 100% fit. If Martial is 100% fit, then that's definitely an option we should consider. But I'm not sure if he is really. Looking at the reports, I'm not sure if he really is. But obviously, only him and Solskjaer really know if he's 100% fit or not. Rich says, it's a long season, injured players shouldn't need to be used. Took the words right out of my mouth, Rich. Took the words right out of my mouth. 100% agree with you. I saw what happened with Newcastle. Yeah, I think obviously there was a lot of positive COVID tests at their training ground, wasn't it? Or something like that. That is unfortunate. Obviously, Newcastle's game, I don't know who they're playing, but I think their game's cancelled. But yeah, it kind of come out of the blue, because I think the Premier League have been doing quite a good job of keeping cases low. Obviously, there hadn't really been any games postponed since we restarted back in June, July of last season. So, they've done pretty well in keeping all the COVID cases down. So, I think you have to give them respect for that. And hopefully they can continue to do that, because what we don't want is even more disruption to this season. We've had so much disruption to last season. We don't want any more disruption to this season. Hopefully we can continue it, even if it is behind closed doors or 2,000 fans, 4,000 fans, depending on what tier you're in. Hopefully we can have as least disruption as possible. Especially with the Champions League as well. I mean, we finally get back into the Champions League. I don't want any of these competitions to shut down. Obviously there's, you have to think of the greater good. I'm not saying that, football's the most important thing. But at the same time, as a fan, the fact we were out of the Champions League last season, we don't really want any disruption. It just, makes it, when you kind of stop starting all the time, it really does make it hard on the players. And it's annoying just in general, really, when you're in the flow of watching your team, and especially right now, we're in such good form. It'd be so typical for the league to stop or something like that. So hopefully nothing like that happens. I think it's only one game anyway. Hopefully they can continue doing the good job that they're doing at keeping the cases down. Graham, thanks for joining. Appreciate it, man. Says, but Martial being ill and having an injury are two different things. If he's fit after being ill and trained today, he should be fine to start without any long-term risk. Yeah, I mean, I see your point. I do see your point, Graham. I think, being ill and having an injury is definitely different. I mean, if you've just got the sniffles or you've got a little bit of a cold, that can go away in a few days and you can feel right as rain. Obviously, injuries are a lot different because obviously it impacts your physical ability to play football, whereas really a cold doesn't really affect your actual play unless it kind of affects your cardiovascular system. Maybe, but at the same time, I don't know. Obviously he'll be assessed probably tomorrow before the game. I think he'll probably travel. I think he'll probably travel with the squad, but whether he'll actually get a place in the squad is up to Solskjaer and the coaching staff really to decipher. But we'll see. We'll see, man. I agree with you though. I do think being ill and having injury are definitely different things. But we'll wait and see. I think obviously Owen mentioned Martial there. We're potentially starting next to Edinson Cavani. Maybe be a good option considering Martial didn't feature in the game against Southampton. Obviously, he'll probably be a bit more rested as well. So maybe that is as a good option to go for. But let us know what you think we should be going for in the forward line, because as I said, I was on Rich's channel and it was a really interesting discussion actually. There's a few different options. I think we all came to the conclusion that Edinson Cavani's got to be one of the first names on the team sheet. I mean, the way he's playing right now, the form he's in, there's no way that he can be dropped right now. So really it's about who you play with Cavani. And I think it worked very well in that second half, the way we were playing in that second half. If we play that same way and are that clinical as we were in that second half, we against that PSG backline, we will have a lot of joy. I really do think we'll have a lot of joy. KSI says that, by the way, I think the formation on how we set up will be the key. I think it will, as always in these big games, the tactics are always very, very key. Tuchel said in his press conference that he'll make the necessary changes, and they said they might defend deep if they have to. So obviously he's very open to not just going gung-ho, but potentially sitting deep if they need to and maybe trying to catch us on the counter-attack. Obviously he knows, and most managers know by now, that we struggle a lot to break down low blocks. So maybe he might set out to do that. Maybe from the off he might sit back a little bit and try and counter-attack on us. Maybe, and to be fair, I don't think that's the most idiotic thing to do, really. I think it's quite a smart move to do that. Obviously, as I said, we struggle a lot with the low block. We struggle to break it down. We saw that against West Brom as well. Against Southampton, I noticed that in the first half, what a lot of people were saying in their review was that that we never felt out of that game. Even when we were 2-0 down at half time, we still felt like we were in it. Most United fans I've spoke to still felt like we had a good chance of turning it around and at least getting a draw out of the game. And that really tells you how the game was going, really. So I think potentially PSG might look at doing that. They might look at doing that in terms of a plan to actually win the game. But I think as the key for us, in my opinion, is taking this game as deep as possible. Because if we're in a position where we're drawing or winning the game and there's about 10 minutes to go, and then they start just throwing men forward, I think that's the point where, as long as we defend solidly enough, we will have won the game. Because realistically, we will then, if they start throwing men forward, we will break because we are very, very good on the break. And we will create a lot of chances that way. So for me, we have to take this game as deep as possible, really. But maybe that's an obvious point, to be honest. Rich says PSG need to win so they can't sit back for too long. Yeah, that's true. Maybe they can start the game like that, but obviously the game situation will depend how long they'll do that for. But if they don't score within maybe the first half, or if they don't score and it's getting late in the game, they will just have to start throwing men forward. Owen says we need to defend deep as well. Say to them, come at us, lads. You have to win the game, and we don't. Yeah, I think, and at times we are going to have to sit deep, but obviously as fans, it's the worst kind of football seeing your team, sit deep. For me, I think obviously the way we played against Southampton, the way we played against Istanbul as well, there really wasn't any sitting deep. But at the same time, we will have to do that at some point in the game because obviously as fans we want to take the game to the opposition. You want to go toe to toe naturally with the best. But I think tactically, as you said, it might actually be beneficial to just sit back and let PSG do all the work. And actually, this game kind of reminds me of the Leicester game, the last game of the season last season, where Leicester had to win the game. We only had to draw. And for a lot of the game, we let Leicester have the ball. And we created a few chances, but Leicester had the majority of the chances, and maybe we're unlucky not to score at times. But obviously, we got that penalty, and the momentum just changed. And then once we went 1-0 up, it was an uphill battle really for Leicester because they knew they had to score 2. And I'm hoping it's kind of the same as last time, except in this PSG game, except obviously it's a bit more comfortable, hopefully. Graham says, with respect to tomorrow's game, it's going to be vital again to keep Marquinhos and Verratti quiet. If we can't find a way to cut off their supply to Neymar and Mbappe, then we can get a result. I agree. I think, for me, as I said at the start, Neymar is the main guy. If you can stop Neymar, which obviously isn't as easy as it sounds, but, if you can stop Neymar and stop the supply to Mbappe, Di Maria, they'll have nothing. And I think we did a really good job of that in the PSG game on match day 1. In Paris. Wan-Bissaka, Telles, they did a fantastic job of stopping them, and even David De Gea was called into action, and when he was called into action, he answered that call as well. So everyone's going to be on guard. Everyone's got to be putting in a 10 out of 10 performance because that PSG front line is no joke. It really isn't. Really isn't no joke. I'm agreeing with Owen. What is going on? The world's gone topsy-turvy. It really has. It really has. I mean, that's when you know. That's when 2020 is in full swing right now. Owen is actually making valid points. Oh wow! But keep your points coming. Keep them coming. In terms of the midfield, we've talked a bit about the forwards. Then, in terms of the midfield, let me know what you guys are thinking Solskjaer should do. Donny van der Beek was in the press conference today, and that really means he's probably going to start, isn't he? Really. Whenever they're sitting next to Solskjaer in the press conference, it's basically a free pass into the team. But Donny van der Beek has earned that free pass. I mean, he's played so well in the last few games. Probably a candidate for man of the match in both those games. And I think in this game in particular, where the midfield battle is going to be so key, and cutting off the supply lines to the forwards is going to be a real key part of the game. Donny van der Beek is a massive must. For Solskjaer to start in this game. It's a bit of a no-brainer, really. I think Fernandes as well has to start. I think both Van der Beek and Fernandes are the two that have got to start. And then probably you're looking at someone like Fred. I think there's a stat which said we've won like 82% of our games when Fred started, which is actually an incredible stat, really, because a lot of people don't talk about Fred as this quality player, but actually the impact he's had on the team. And since his improvement, I think, this time last year, a lot of people were saying, why is Fred even here? What does he actually, contribute for the 50, 60 million that we pay for him? But he's really improved his game, and he's been so consistent ever since that point. So fair play to him for doing that. It's really, really encouraging and great to see a player that a lot of people have written off, suddenly becomes so respected by the fan base. It's always great to see that. So he might go with Fred. I think McTominay probably is still out of this game. From what I've read of Solskjaer's press conference, McTominay doesn't sound like he's going to be ready for this game. McTominay doesn't sound like he's going to be fit. Excuse me. So it's looking like Fred, or maybe even someone like Nemanja Matic. Although, as we spoke about on Rich's show, Matic, can he survive? Can he survive 3 games back to back? Can he realistically do that at his age? We'll see. Obviously, he's a consummate professional. I'm sure he'd like to think he'd do that, but maybe it would be more wise to give it to Fred. But a lot of people are suggesting that he might play a double pivot of Fred and Matic, just to kind of have a bit more defensive protection. Do you reckon that's a good way to go? Obviously, it does provide that protection, but realistically, I'm not sure it's the best idea to let PSG have the ball and just sit back, because that means that our defence is going to take a lot of pounding from PSG forwards. And our defence hasn't been too bad of late. I think actually the 2 goals we conceded against Southampton, you couldn't really blame the defence too much. So our defensive, our defence hasn't actually been that bad really. But for me, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of sitting back for too long. I understand sometimes in games for 15-20 minutes you do have to soak up pressure, but I don't like the idea of just kind of sitting on our 18-yard line and just letting PSG attack us. I just don't like that. Don't like that idea, to be honest. Graham here says midfield we need to effectively play a diamond similar to what we did versus Southampton. Fred, Matic, McTominay, Van der Beek and Fernandes, top with Cavani and Rashford. Yeah, that looks decent. I think obviously, Fred, Matic, the little pivot there. You got Van der Beek and Fernandes. I'd be happy with that. Obviously, there you've got the 2 kind of more defensive-minded midfielders in Fred and Matic. But at the same time, I kind of weigh up. Obviously, I just went on a little bit of a rant saying that we don't need to sit as deep as some people are saying. But at the same time, having those 2 on the pitch to control that midfield, because that midfield battle, as I said, is going to be so important tomorrow. It really, really is. Especially with Verratti coming back into the team, who's a baller. He is a baller. So that midfield battle is going to be very, very important. So maybe getting more midfield players in there is a good idea. So we'll see what Solskjaer does. But I think that's a good point. Kieran, get Rakani on. Yeah, Rakani, he's a great guy. United Social Television. Make sure you check out United Social Television if you haven't already. And if he wants to come on, he can come on if he wants to. Feel free. I will be opening up the floor to guests in just a second once I've talked about my defence, and then after that we'll open up the floor to you guys as usual. So defensively, obviously we're going to have a few people out. I think Tuanzebe is suspended from the game. And I think Solskjaer, if we are going to go with a diamond, obviously going to go with a back 4. Luke Shaw is still out of the game as well. So I think Saeed, thanks for joining. Just saw Saeed's comment, says why your following isn't become more. I don't know, man. Well, listen, I'm in the end of the day, obviously the amount of subscribers I have, the amount of people watching, obviously I'm happy with it. And I do this as a hobby really. I do it to kind of chat to you guys and just see what you guys are saying really. So any support is absolutely fantastic and really appreciated. But I'm not someone who begs for subscribers, views, anything like that. I in the end of the day, maybe it's me, maybe it's the content I'm creating. I don't know. I think obviously kind of YouTube, the Man United YouTube scene is obviously very populated, so that's probably one of the reasons as well why it's very, very difficult to grow your channel. But yeah, that's probably why side. But thanks for joining, appreciate it anyway. Matthew, thanks for joining as well. He says we need to play as usual, forget needing a draw, we need to play to win. I agree with that. I don't think we should be sitting back on an 18-yard line letting PSG attack us. Especially as a fan, I just don't want to watch that for 9 minutes. I'd just be hiding behind the sofa watching that, to be honest. Tellez is available. Yeah, Tellez, as you guys are saying, is available, which is a big plus, very big plus. Obviously, there was a few doubts about him. Obviously, he picked up a little bit of a knock off Southampton game, but I think obviously it was just a minor thing. So it's good to have Tellez back. I think he was very, very good on his debut when he played against PSG. Obviously Wan-Bissaka as well. You could argue Wan-Bissaka is going to be a little bit burnt out because I think he's pretty well started every game he played this season. But yeah, Wan-Bissaka and Tellez are 2 fullbacks getting forward. And I think if we are going to play a back 4, you will go with Maguire and Lindelof. I don't see anyone else really at this moment in time, especially with Tuanzebe suspended, who is going to play alongside Harry Maguire. So I think he will go with Maguire and he will go with Lindelof. But if Tuanzebe wasn't suspended, I would definitely go with Tuanzebe. The way he played against PSG, there's no way that he shouldn't have been included if he wasn't suspended, of course, which is so frustrating that he got that yellow card. It really, really is frustrating. But hey ho, we got to do it. Owen says, I'm just wanting us to get through first and then worry about topping the group once we're through. Yeah, listen, obviously, it'd be great if we could top the group and go through at the same time. But at the end of the day, we just need to get through to the next round. Obviously, if we get that point, we go through pretty much. I think, obviously, as I said, there are some scenarios where we might still go out. But I think if we get that point, we get on to 10 points, we'll go through, and it'll be all good. But but it's about just getting that result tomorrow, really. It's all about getting that result. Saeed, thank you, man. Appreciate it. But I think you're doing a good job, so keep it up. I'm sure you're going to make it. Cheers, man. Appreciate it. I mean, I just, as I said, I appreciate everyone who always, comes and supports, and anyone who joins in. I mean, even if there's only a few people or whatever, like I enjoy just talking to Man United fans, really. So it's not just about the viewers, whatever, or subscribers. Really, they're just numbers. It's more just about actually like talking to people, debating with people, and just having a good time, really, and just interacting with a fantastic community. So thank you so much for being a part of that community, man. Really appreciate it. What I miss, Adam, thanks for joining, man. Appreciate it. You didn't miss anything, really. You just we were just discussing the preview, just discussing the forwards and midfield defenders, and I've kind of outlined the team I play. I think I'll go through it now, and then we'll open up to the floor, and then obviously we'll get your predictions and stuff. But I'm going to go with David De Gea in goal. Obviously, I'm not sure if there was a little bit of an injury there, but if David De Gea is fully fit, which I think Solskjaer said that he's fine. David De Gea he's not that badly injured. Then I'd probably play David De Gea, especially how good he was in that PSG game last time out. I'd go with Wan-Bissaka. I'd go with Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof, and Telles out of all the players that are actually available. I would have gone to Nzabi, as I said, but he's obviously suspended. Then I'm going to go with, in terms of prediction, I'm probably going to go with Fred, Matic, Fernandes, and Van der Beek. And then I'm going to go with Cavani and Rashford up top as a front two. So that's obviously the diamond formation. We were talking a bit on Rich's stream as well, where they could play the five at the back. I know I've mentioned it. It's only taken me 31 minutes, but it has been mentioned. And I'm sorry if that offended anyone. But yeah, the five at the back obviously could potentially be an option. But the problem is that, if you look at the defenders that we've got out, obviously Luke Shaw's out, Nzabi's missing. Phil Jones, you're going to put him in a back three, or Fosu Mensah even. It's hard to see a back five being played, but Solskjaer always is someone who could potentially surprise with his selection. So we'll see what happens. But that is my predicted 11. Wrestling 360, thanks for joining, man. Appreciate it, as always. And Dazza, thanks for joining as well. Says, hi, mate. I'll come on for a bit then fly off because I'm live for the Bayern Munich match. Don't worry about it, mate. Honestly, don't worry about it. I mean, I'll put the link in the live chat right now. So if anyone wants to come on, then please do. Please do come on and click the link in the live chat if you want to come on. So I'll just put the link in as usual now. But yeah, my prediction, I'll say my prediction. I'll give my prediction now because usually I give it at the end, but I'm going to give my prediction. I think United are going to win this game. I'm kind of sceptical because I feel like every time I predict a United win, we always perform poorly. Every time. So for me, I think I am confident. I do feel kind of confident. I'm not overly confident because I think PSG is still a very, very good side going forward at least. But I think it'll be very similar to what happened last time, where PSG were very open at the back. And we just have to take our chances. And if we take our chances and if we take the game as deep as possible, we will get the result. Simply because PSG's situation is so dire that they'll have to throw men forward and just throw caution to the wind, and tactics will go out the window. So, if I had to predict, I'm going to go with a 2-0 win to Manchester United. It's a little bit brave saying we'll keep a clean sheet, but I just have a feeling that the way we defended in the first game in match day 1, hopefully we can do that. Hopefully we can replicate that again. So I'm going to go with a 2-0 win. Rich says I managed to stream for an hour before someone mentioned Pochettino. A new record, yeah, yeah. I know. Obviously, I was thinking even the fact that Solskjaer went on a little bit of run of results, that the kind of Poch talk would die down a little bit. But obviously not. Obviously, Pochettino is always going to be in the mind of United fans now. Probably even if we go on a really good run towards the end of the season, even if we finish in the top 4 or whatever, I think even if we win a trophy, people will be still saying that Pochettino could do better with this team. But anyway, obviously on to the PSG game. We've got a few guests as well coming on. Kieran's lucky beard will get us through. Yeah, I know, man. As I said, I'm not shaving until we lose the game, and hopefully that's not tomorrow. And even if we lose, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna shave, because actually I don't think it looks too bad. So maybe I might maintain it. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens. But we'll get a few guests on, and we'll see what you guys are saying. So yeah, we've got Adam talks one. We've got KSI as well. I can't remember say AK. What was I say? AK Rashtaldi for the winner. Well, yeah, listen. I know you love Rashford. I know you love Rashford, and obviously we'll see another battle between Rashford and Kylian Mbappe tomorrow, which is obviously always great to see. And we've got Rakani as well. We'll get Rakani in. It's always good to have you on. And obviously, you know yeah, keep getting your comments in. Keep getting your comments in, guys, as well. We'll all read your comments as we go through and address them. But yeah, thanks for joining, Adam, Kesai, and Rakani. Thanks for joining, guys. Really appreciate it. Make sure you check out United Social Television as well if you haven't already. Brilliant stuff on there. So make sure you do check that out. We'll start with you, Kesai. Actually, going into the game. It's a big game. It really is a big game, especially for PSG, who have to win realistically if they are to stand a chance of going through to the knockout stages. How are you feeling? How do you see Manchester United's chances, and how do you see Solskjaer going about it to get the 3 points?
Personally, think that we're gonna lose the game tomorrow.
Oh, Kesai, man, you can't start like that.
Come on, you know the last time I came on, right? I predicted Tottenham would beat us, and they did, but I never expected I think it was
6-1, yeah, 6-1.
6-1 embarrassment. So
yeah,
look, they've got variety. They got Neymar, they got Mbappe, and I think the fridge head will probably play. If I'm being honest, Maguire, and I think United need to really play defensive tomorrow, because that's the only way we're going to win. I tactically looked at the game, right, and I think personally, right, they've got very good, talented players, and I don't think they're going to defend. They're going to come out attacking, and I think we should defend. Now, I think. Wait 1 second. Let me get this up. Is Eric Bay injured for this game, or is he fit?
I think he's a doubt. I'm not sure if he's going to be part of the travelling squad, but I doubt he's going to play, to be honest. I'd very heavily doubt it, especially because I think he's like back in like training, but I don't think he's like fully back in training, if you know what I mean. He's kind of just still easing back into it, so I doubt he's going to play.
Yeah. So let's get into the game. So I think Manchester United need to go at 5 at the back, 3 in the midfield, and 2 up top. I think at the start of the first game at Parc des Princes, I think that's how we played. And I think when Paul Pogba, somebody came on, right, we changed the formation. I think to a diamond, and we dominated the game after that, like fully dominated the match. Paul Pogba apparently is coming. He apparently trained today, so that's very good. He trained, and hopefully he's fully fit and fine. And Edinson Cavani, I think he's also training. I don't know the situation with Cavani.
I think Solskjaer said that he'd be available for the game tomorrow. So I think Solskjaer's pretty well said that Cavani is going to be involved, whether he starts or not, who knows. But I'm sure he'll be involved. Hopefully he gets a goal.
Yeah, definitely. I think Cavani, if he gets the goal against his former club, it'll be bittersweet, showing that bloody stupid face Neymar. Like, remember the situation they had with the penalties? Like, stupid situation they had with the freaking penalties. Cavani, like, it'd be so funny, right? If Cavani scores the winner and at the end and Neymar watches on and does the celebration in front of him, that would be my scenes. But I think. So what should I say? Should I give my predicted lineup, or should I wait? Or should I just give my thoughts, like, on how we could win? So
just for starters, just give your thoughts on like your general thoughts. Are you confident? Or do you think that we? Obviously, you predicted us to lose. You're probably not that confident thinking about it. But how do you think Solskjaer is going to go about it then? How do you think Solskjaer is going to set the team up?
That's a
Johnny will
very
definitely start. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so um I think how he starts is very interesting because um he played Van der Beek on Sunday and we won the game and he took a risk from playing him. This is a harder game than PSG in Istanbul, isn't it? Um his job, I think he wants to really, really, confirm that he's going to stay with United, like seal his job basically, and he needs to keep winning. And if he doesn't win, then the pressure's on because we play Leipzig, and I think if we lose that game, we're basically screwed, aren't we? Um, and if I was Ole Solskjaer, I'd go defensively. And I think if we score 1 or 2 goals in the first half, then I'd go attacking. And if PSG score, then I go back to defensive. But um, am I confident for the game? Hell no, because there's Mbappe and Neymar on the pitch, and they can show up. And especially with the fridge, Harry Maguire in the back. If Harry Maguire was not at the back, I'd be more confident. But that fridge head could cost us the game. And if he costs us the game, then I'm gonna start a trend cancel Harry Maguire. So as of now, I'm not confident.
Well, I can understand your argument. To be fair, I mean, I would say to you, though that Harry Maguire actually in the first leg, I don't think was too bad. To be fair, against PSG, I think.
Nah, I'll say this. Everyone in the first leg, right? They were praying Maguire wasn't fit because if Maguire was fit and he faced Kylian Mbappe, he would basically get annihilated, and Lindelof will have a nightmare of a game as well. So we're kind of lucky, aren't we, that Maguire didn't play the first game? But we just won a world-class performance tomorrow, and that's what we wish for. I mean, he dealt with Timo Werner, so him and Lindelof dealt, yeah. And you know what? I think if we got Twanzebe fit, we could have maybe went out more attacking. But I think with Maguire and Lindelof at the back, we need to stay defensive because they've cost us many times. When we play low block teams with the pace up front, they cost us many times. If we go attacking against a team like PSG and Mbappe and Neymar on the field, I think it'll be lights out.
Yeah, it's a bit of a scary prospect, that really. Maguire 1-on-1 with Kylian Mbappe. I just don't want to think about that at all. But I'll bring in you, Rakani. Thanks for joining, by the way. Obviously, you've heard what Case had to say. That maybe we should go a bit more defensive, have a bit more protection in front of the back line because of what PSG can do going forward. Would you agree with that, or do you think that maybe we should use the method of attack being the best form of defence and maybe playing a similar formation that we did in the second half against Southampton?
To me, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a manager that keeps on surprising us. Even if you really think of him going all out to attack, he really does the reverse. And with Luke Shaw injured, because Luke Shaw's availability would then mean that United is going to go for a 3-5-2 into this game. But him being out and Twanzebe being out, suspended, Eric Bay, I think he cannot risk Eric Bay to play him into the back three, because the last time he played him into the back three against Chelsea, we lost 3-1, and he collided with Harry Maguire. It looks like each and every time they're playing a three-man midfield, Lindelof, Harry Maguire, and Eric Bay, it looks like Eric Bay finds himself in the same position with Harry Maguire a lot. It looks like everyone wants to play off the right of the defense. So I think that leaves him with no option of really trying to come up with a 4-2-3-1 or a diamond. But I think United is going to. If I was Ole, I would have sat down, not like I'm defending, not like playing defensively, but I would first do the possession game, because I will having Danny Van Beek, Bruno Fernandes, Freddy on the pitch. So that means you can hold the ball and possess it. So I think if I was Ole, I would have done the possession for the first 5-10 minutes and see what PSG are bringing up to me, because it's within the first 10 minutes you know the game plan of the team, like PSG, because if they're coming all out, you'll know, then you'll decide on what you're going to do. But I think it's better United to play its game. United should take this one as a usual game. It's not a game that is United is under pressure. There is no pressure into this game. It's all about United doing what's supposed to do, such that they do really win this one. Because when we put a lot of pressure on our players, they are not going to perform. They are supposed to play as a usual game, because there is no reason why United should panic into this one. You get? Because trust me, when United wants a goal against PSG, it will get it anytime. The defense of PSG cannot stop Manchester United from scoring a goal when United wants. You get? So, and there is a statement that there is something I don't agree with people. People talking about Harry Maguire. Trust me, I really want to see United without Harry Maguire for 5 games. And you guys will know the importance of that man. However much, because ever since he came into that Manchester United defense, at least you see it's stable. Just the problem is the 2 players look more of the same. That is Lindelof and Harry Maguire. And Harry Maguire just needs another player, another different player to play alongside him.
Wait, Rob,
I don't agree with people calling Harry Maguire a fridge, blah, 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 blah. I don't agree with that, because trust me, Harry Maguire has given us stability. The problem is there are some goals we are conceding that we're not supposed to be conceding, and that comes with a coach of how they train on the pitch, on how to defend such goals, like the corner against Southampton. You remember they scored the same goal against us in the previous season, the equalizer that they scored in the late minutes. You remember? It's the same goal they scored, we considered as the first one as we played them in the Premier League this season. So, and there are some other goals that are similar to that. So I think our defense is not all that exposed, but there are some glitches that we need really to solve, and that goes up to the manager to change the way we defend, especially corners, and how to know the teams we are facing. And for Kylian Mbappe and Neymar, I don't think Manchester United is going really to give Mbappe time, to get those running spaces. Trust me. Even in the other game that we played in Paris. People forget, but what they should know is Manchester United never gave Kylian Mbappe space to run. You get? Even the little space he got in front of him, there was Tuanzebe. That's why people say that Tuanzebe played a lot. But did you ever see Tuanzebe chasing Kylian Mbappe from behind? It was a game plan that we are not going to give Kylian Mbappe space. And I think it worked very well onto that game. And for me, I think Harry Maguire is being slaughtered, but there is no reason people should slaughter him, because I think he is doing his best for the team. My only problem is that he does not appear as a leader onto the pitch. For that, I can blame him, because you don't see him going to the referee, talking to his fellow players that now we need to do this. You see, it's Bruno who is bumping up the team, the Cavani is because they are senior players. So, but if it comes to doing his job, the man is doing his job. He's doing his job. Because he'll tell you, those who are saying that he's not he's a fridge, he's blah, blah, blah. No, get him a player, a different kind of player, who is not like him, alongside him, and you'll see what he's going to do. So back to the game against PSG, I think it's really going to be a game for Manchester United to really play in a relaxed mode. Let's wait to see what PSG has for us, because for us, when we need a goal, we'll score it. So that's what I really had, and that's my submission as far as the PSG game is concerned.
Wait.
Go on.
I'll let Dad speak, but I just want to give one player that Maguire has played with, Eric Bay, and we lost 6-1. Eric Bay is fast, and he should have marked Son and everything, and we lost 6-1. So I'm just saying, he has played with somebody, and we got battered. So.
But I can come in there. Trust me. Do you remember Nemanja Vidic?
Yeah, but no, I've not seen him.
Nemanja Vidic is one of the best defenders United has ever had. You get? He was a captain, but every defender has his bad days in office. Remember Nemanja Vidic, whenever he faced Fernando Torres, almost 90% of the games we played against Liverpool, when Nemanja Vidic was facing Torres, he got red cards. You get? And that game against Tottenham Hotspur, leaving alone, look at what Maguire was into. Case in Greece, manager fails to rest him, puts him on the pitch. He costed us 2 goals, the first one and second one, remember? And to make it ugly, we get a red card of Anton Martial. We a man down. You get? And trust me, if at all Martial was not sent off on that pitch, we're going to win that game, because United looked well when when we were attacking. We looked well. You get?
Yeah.
And one thing I want to assure you is there is an agenda that they are putting on Harry Maguire. But trust me, you guys, I pray that Harry Maguire, I'm not a prophet of doom. I just pray let Maguire be away for 5 games. And I want Tuanzebe to be partnered with Victor Lindelof, or Bailey to be partnered with Victor Lindelof, and we see how United will future. You guys, you have to remember that before Harry Maguire came at Manchester United, Eric Bailly was already there, and Lindelof was already there, and they're already tested, and they never looked good enough for the team. And now Harry Maguire comes in, and he has given stability to that defense, and people are praising Lindelof that he should supposed to be playing with other players, and when he's fielded with other players, he doesn't live up to the equation, because Harry Maguire was not into this team, and Jose Mourinho tested this player known as Victor Lindelof alongside Eric Bailly, alongside Phil Jones, alongside name them the Marcus Rashfords of this world, and the defense was not all that comfortable. You get? So there is, for me, I don't agree with something concerning Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire had his own problems, and ever since he really got back, he looks like he got back to his sense. I think he's doing the best. And look at all these games. Are we conceding stupid goals as we used to do? No. Is he doing mistakes he used to do? No. Because people are capitalizing on those 2 mistakes he did against Tottenham Hotspur, of which those mistakes are human. People make those mistakes. Even if it's Sergio Ramos, one of the best defenders in the world right now, he has ever made stupid mistakes and his team loses. Gerard Piqué has done the same mistakes. Even Upamecano, watch the Bundesliga, he does make mistakes, but people are just fronting this agenda because Harry Maguire is a free agent. By the way, in modern football, you don't need someone who is fast. You just need someone who has the brain. You get? That's why. That's when we saw after Gerard Piqué left Manchester United. That's when we saw that he is really one of the best defenders that Ferguson would have fielded for Manchester United to play with. But because he was not granted chance, because he was a slow defender, he cannot play for Manchester United, he cannot play in the Premier League. And guess what? When the Premier League faced Barcelona, they wouldn't break the defense of Barcelona down. Yet the man they thought that wouldn't play in the Premier League was the man leading the defense of Barcelona. You get? So something concerning pace and calling Harry Maguire a freak, trust me, he is doing his best for the club. He's the captain, and trust me not. I think all of us here, for us, we are giving in our views. We are the viewers and the rest. But the man called Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think he trusts that man because he went for him. However much people say that he was overpriced. But what do you call overpricing of Harry Maguire? You get? An English player, we all know that an English player crossing from one English side to another English side, money is a lot. That's why you see that Danny Van Beek is a far much better player than Jack Grealish. But Jack Grealish could cost Manchester United close to £60 million plus, almost £80 million plus. And Danny Van Beek, £40 million. You get? So something concerning pricing is not something to talk about when you're talking of English players crossing from one English side to another. So Harry Maguire, to me, is really a player that we need at Manchester United. And you guys wait. The good thing is that he does not get injured. He's not an injury-prone player. But if at all he was, you would have got to know his importance. Like people now know the importance of Anton Martial into the team of Manchester United. When he's out, there are things you see that cannot happen on that front line. You get? So I think Manchester United is going to really go ahead, and my prediction is we are winning against PSG, and I think we are winning against PSG provided Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sends out his team not to go and do and for a do or die game. You get? So I think United should play as usual. Put in those passes, let them play freely, no pressure, because it's PSG that needs this game more than us. For us, we only need 1 point. For them, they need 3. And if at all they attack us, we'll do our counter-attack. You get? If at all they say, let's see what United is bringing us, we have players. If at all you have Danny Van Beek, Bruno Fernandes, Edinson Cavani on pitch, you are assured of those players putting a couple of passes together, and they can break down the defense of Kimpembe, Kazawa, is it Diallo, those players. So for me, I think United is going to go for a win tomorrow at Old Trafford.
I hope so. I really, really do hope so. I've got Dazza here as well. Dazza, obviously you don't have that much time, but thanks for joining in here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to check out Dazza's football stand if you haven't already. Obviously, I guess just briefly, what are your feelings? Are you feeling confident? Do you think that? Do you agree with Rakani? Do you think that we should let PSG come to us and be a bit more relaxed about the whole situation, or how do you see Solskjaer going about it? And what is your prediction for the game?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, by the way. I apologise I can't stay too long. I'm live doing Atletico v Bayern.
No worries.
Deserved. With regards to tomorrow, I don't know. I think the defence, especially against Southampton, was rather suspect. And obviously, Sonal marking from set pieces as usual. And the man marking's normally terrible, and obviously PSG have some really good players: Neymar, Mbappe, Di Maria, aka the Snake, as United fans call him, etc.
Yeah.
Some really good players, Verratti, etc. But if they can beat PSG away from home, I don't see why they can't do it at home. But we have to remember the home record is CAC. To be honest with you, although the home record in Champions League has actually been decent. Two games at home, 9 goals already, I think, in the group stage, and this is the third and final home game. To be honest with you, I think United win, believe it or not, as the favourites given the current form. But it's going to be a tough game, and I think we'll end up drawing. I don't think we'll beat them. Even though I can't see any reason why they can't, but I just think if you look at their defence and their attack, they've got the stronger team on paper. But even though they didn't score an actual goal against United at the Parc des Princes, I can't see United getting a clean sheet against Mbappe or Neymar this time round. So I think we'll get a draw. But if we can snatch a win, I'd be very, very pleased.
Yeah. No, a win would obviously be the ideal result. But as was mentioned obviously before, I guess, do you think there is an advantage for the fact that PSG are the ones that have to win, whereas we can just get the point and we'll go through?
Yeah, I mean we're not under that much pressure now. And if you look at the group at the start of when the draw was made, and I was looking at the group and I'm like, oh God, this is going to be a long season. We'd be lucky to finish in the Europa League. Well, we're breezing past teams. But I think we're coming up against the 2 toughest teams now. PSG at home, we never seem to have an amazing record at home to them. And then Leipzig away, they're a lot better at home than they are away from home. So 2 tough games to come up against. And yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think we have the advantage of not being put under too much pressure. We only need a point. But I don't want to see United just playing for a point. I would rather them go out there and actually put in a good performance. If they go 1-0 down, show some resilience and show a bit of character and come back and get a result out of them. But I don't want to see United sitting back for the full 90 minutes just inviting pressure, because at the end of the day, if you do that, defence will crumble. And personally, I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I can't stay long. I'm going to have to disappear, I'm afraid, because the second half's going to start in a few minutes. But I appreciate you having me on, and I'll chat to you very soon.
Hey, no worries, Daz. Thanks for coming on briefly. Anyway,
Right,
appreciate it. And if you want to check out Daz's football stand, he's obviously doing a watch along with Bayern Munich as they take on Atletico Madrid. I think they're 1-0 down, he said, unfortunately for him. But make sure you check that out if you haven't already. Naveen, thanks for joining. He obviously asked about the expected formation. I'll come to you, Adam Talksport. You've been very, very patient, so thank you very much for doing so. And I guess I'll lead off with what Naveen says. Obviously, in terms of how you think Solskjaer should go about it, do you think he will go with he said he puts a 4-3-3 there. I'm not sure if that's the same sort of thing as a diamond or if that's a slightly different one. Or do you think he will go with the 3 at the back like we saw kind of in the first game against PSG? How do you think Solskjaer is going to set up tomorrow?
I don't think he can go 3 at the back because we don't have options. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can eat, no problem.
Oh. I don't think he'll go 3 at the back because there's not really as much options. Shaw's out, Bailly's out, we can't play Twanzebe. And he's not going to play Ted and Menji. So I wanted to go with a diamond just because I think it is our best formation. One thing, PSG are really bad defensively. And considering the players we have, Bruno, Rashford, Cavani, they can sort of exploit that.
I mean,
I'm calling it Cavani hat-trick v PSG, and he goes to Neymar and shushes him.
Hey, I hope so. Listen, any win for me is
What is
I mean, I'll take any.
Cavani?
Well, Cavani, I don't know. I think Cavani's available. I'm pretty sure. I think he's not going to get that ban. Obviously, there's that potential ban for the comment he made on social media, or whatever. But I think that's more of a league thing rather than like an actual. I think that's more like in the league. I don't think that's going to be for the Champions League. But yeah, I think the FA is still kind of like waiting on that to see what decision to make on that one. But I think Cavani can play in the next game. But we'll have to wait and see what the FA say.
For sure.
Also, Maguire isn't that bad. I think a lot of people do hate on Maguire because of his price tag. But did he choose the price tag? No, Leicester did. Because he was one of Leicester's most important players, and obviously they weren't gonna want cheap for him, were they? So they said 80 million. You either pay the money or you can go. And because we were looking to sign a centre back, in the end we did. One player that I think will start, and I could almost say 90% that he'll start, is Donny.
I think he has to, really. On form, like, there's no way you can drop him, in my opinion.
And the only reason is because he was in the press conference.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he was sitting next to Solskjaer. That usually means, yeah.
I want to ask you a question.
Go on. Always up for questions.
On form, is Cavani our best sort of? Is he our most deadly player?
I would say on form, he has to. Well, on form, obviously, when you've just come off the back of scoring 2 goals to turn around a game against Southampton with basically two chances, I think on form he kind of has to be. But at the same time, I think the finishing from Greenwood, Rashford, and Martial has kind of been up and down recently. It hasn't been as consistent. So yeah, for me, I would say Cavani's probably the most deadly player. What about you, Kesai? Would you say that? Would you agree?
What do you say again?
Do you think? Would you say Cavani on form right now is our most kind of clinical striker right now on form?
Yeah, probably would be.
Hi.
Huh? Hello? Is anyone there? Can
Yeah,
you hear me?
we can hear you. We can hear
Yes.
you. No problem. We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Alright, basically, right? Cavani is a very important player, but I don't think he's like the most important. I think people are like Cavani's just like second coming of Ronaldo or something like that. Hearing people,
He isn't. No one said that.
some people online delusion, you get delusional people.
No one said Cavani was the second coming of Ronaldo. He's the second
No, I'm
coming
on
of
about
Zlatan, maybe.
I'm on about where some people they act delusional, reactionary.
Yeah, I get that. But at the end of the day, if he helps us to win games, I don't care.
I mean, to be fair, it's not even. I don't think Cavani's the most important player. I think the most important player is actually
Oh, he's
in our
not the most
midfield.
important. Bruno is.
I think Bruno Fernandes
Without a
really on
doubt.
form right now. Yeah, I'd say that. But I think for me, Cavani, you've
I would
got to
say
give props to Cavani.
I would say Donny's not that far off, to be fair as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, Donny is starting to get.
personally,
time.
I think if I was to kick one person out the team between Van der Beek and Fernandes,
That's a tough
Don't
choice.
say
That's a
it.
very, very tough choice.
I would
Don't
actually
say
go
it.
Fernandes.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Van der Beek's playing very, very well, but then if you take
think-
Van der Beek out, if you take Fernandes out of the team, where's the creativeness coming from? That's what I'd ask.
Yeah, but I think Van der Beek could do the role.
He can't do that role better than Bruno Fernandes. Guys, these are I've come up
One thing I
with
will
players.
say-
All right.
Sorry.
It depends on what formation he's gonna go with. It depends what formation he's gonna go with.
I think whichever formation Ole brings, guys, if at all we want to see a better Manchester United, I want to see Pogba out of Manchester United.
Same.
You get?
Not the only one.
Such that Danny Van Beek can be on the same pitch with Bruno Fernandes and Freddy. If at all in each and every game that we're supposed to start, Fred,
You know what annoys
Bruno
me?
Fernandes, and Danny Van Beek should be starters into that Manchester United lineup. That's what I really want to see at Manchester United, because
The thing that
with
annoys
those
me-
three, yes, you're saying?
Is that when people say Donny's only a number 10? He isn't, because I watched him at Ajax and he played number 8 a lot of the time.
But I think he played on the rights, because 8 was De Jong, who is in Barcelona right now, and I think he played on the right. But you see, if at all you are under a very tactical coach like the one they had at Ajax, it will be hard for you to know which position Danny Van Beek was really playing at Ajax, because it was like they are roving into anywhere in the midfield. So it was like he gets close to 3 players, puts them there, and tells them that Ziyech. Ziyech? Ziyech was in Ajax.
Yeah.
Danny Van Beek and De Jong, just enjoy the midfield. Anyhow you want to play. If at all you feel like you want to play in the central, be there. Left, forward. So it's very hard because the manager they had was too tactical. And I think Danny Van Beek is a player that has a lot of attributes that will help us move the ball quicker. You get? Freddie gets the ball, passes it to him, and Danny Van Beek does not make a lot of touches. Not that he cannot hold the ball or be with the ball for very many minutes or seconds, but because he's this player who really wants to play with others. He wants to make those that are around him look better. That's why I tell people that to me he's the best. His first touch at Manchester United, no player has a first touch at Manchester United better than Danny Van Beek. You see, the way he controls the ball, the way he releases it, he's this player who is into 1-2, 1-2. It's very hard for Danny Van Beek to make 3 touches. In more cases, he makes 2 touches, and that really helps the ball to move more faster. And remember, the winner, was it the winner? No, the second goal that Edinson Cavani scored against Southampton. People talked of his positioning, but did you notice that even if Edinson Cavani never headed that ball into the net, Danny Van Beek was already there and the ball was in his direction and was going to tap it in the net? Did you notice it? So even when he's in the box, the way he positions him, the positional sense that he has when he's in the box, the calmness that he has, the finishing, trust me, when he gets the ball in the box and it requires him to finish or to put that ball at the back of the net, he will do it. So he's this player that we've been missing at Manchester United. He's doing things that Paul Pogba has failed to do at Manchester United, because that's the role Paul Pogba is supposed to be playing at Manchester United. Don't play like Bruno Fernandes, you get? But each and every time you have the ball, do the needful. Let Bruno Fernandes do the many touches, because he's the main man. We've given that role because he came up and showed us that he's the man that can really go ahead and play that role. Leave Bruno to play those many touches, the Anton Martials, the Cavani's, but Freddie and Danny Van Beek do limited touches, get the ball, pass it quickly, and I think that's what Paul Pogba failed to do, and Danny Van Beek is giving us exactly what Paul Pogba has failed to do at Manchester United for all of those days. And did you notice that in the game of Southampton, Danny Van Beek did close to 3 long balls on the side of Marcus Rashford from the right wing, and he dropped them. They were like diagonals to the side of Marcus Rashford. And we've been here already saying Paul Pogba, that long ball. But Danny Van Beek showed us that even if it means putting that long ball, I can also do it. So I think time has come. I think that team of Manchester United, remember the team that played against Istanbul Başakşehir with Edinson Cavani, Anton Martial, and Marcus Rashford, with Bruno, Danny Van Beek, was it Nemanja Matic? But they're supposed to be, was it Freddie or who? So, but I think Freddie, Danny Van Beek, Bruno Fernandes, they should be into that team. And Ole should very much get used to playing with Edinson Cavani, Anton Martial, and Marcus Rashford. Because the team that Manchester United is, we have the attacking-minded players. Let's use them. Because the good thing is that Anton Martial and Marcus Rashford can track back and defend. You get? And the other benefit of that team is that if it means us to spark a break, it can be sparked by either Danny Van Beek or Freddie, because Fred has improved on his final ball. Even those long balls that he chips in are now looking well on point. And Bruno Fernandes can as well do the same. So I think our team should be like that. The team that played Istanbul Başakşehir is the team that Ole should stick with, because we can beat any team with that team.
No worries, Adam. Cheers for coming on, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it as always, man. Appreciate it.
Wait,
Bye, everyone.
I would say,
Yes?
oh, okay. I've been saying it for a long time, right? Fred's a very good player. I think it was last season, right at the start of the season. I told you Fred, right? He's better than Kante. People are like, no, he's not. You're such a delusional hypocrite Manchester United fan. And I'm like, he is. I've seen a little bit from his game, the passing and everything. That shows me it. Now, he's improved it. He's keep improving. And you know, I think he's our most underrated player, because I think people don't, of course, some like the United fan channels and that rate him, But some like United fans on Twitter, I don't think they really rate him as much. He puts in 8, 9, 10, 8, 9 performances all week. If I'm being honest, right, Fred right now is player of the year with
Player of the
Fernandes.
year, you'd say. Oh, well,
Him
with
and
Fernandes,
Fernandes.
I was going to say Fred as player of the year, but yeah, I would maybe with Fernandes. I think definitely for me, I would say he's improved a lot since when we first bought him, and I think that improvement started
But
like kind of in last December. Actually, I
yeah,
think the first game I saw him play really well was that Burnley game away from home. Actually, and since
yeah.
then he's actually been very very good.
Personally, I think he's played well since the end of November, start of December, and then ever since then he kept moving. And then he was our best player in March, and then lockdown came. He dropped off a bit, and people was like, "Oh, that's the end of Fred." Then he came back. I think the one person that I don't think um should be even in the team tomorrow is actually a person from my nation, which is Scott McTominay. I'm Scottish, by the way. Um,
Oh right, oh.
so all this time, Kieran, you thought I was English. Just my accent. But I
The
think,
more you know, the more you know.
yeah, I think Scott McTominay. I don't really rate the guy. I think the game that ticked me off was the Arsenal one, wasn't it? When he absolutely had a stinker. He took too much time on the ball. He took too much time passing it about, and that was the issue, wasn't it? That was
Yeah, it
the
was spot
issue.
on actually.
But the formation I would go with tomorrow, before we get into the lineups a little bit later, is a 5-3-2.
Right.
Kieran, can I?
Yeah, go on, Graham. Yeah, thanks for coming on as well. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, cheers. So I think he's really come to know he's learned actually from his mistakes that he's made in the past, especially with Fred. If you saw, I think Casey, yeah, he had mentioned that he dropped off. I think the reason he dropped off is because Pogba came into the team and he wasn't getting a run of games. Fred
Yeah, that's
wasn't getting a run of games in the team. So I think Ole had really noticed that, and Fred is a type of a player who needs those run of games to get that form moving of his. So he's Ole has noticed that, and he's been giving him game after game to get his form up, and now we're seeing the best of him. So kudos to Ole for that. And I think the two players that Ole needs to keep moving on with in this team to be successful in the future is Fred and Van de Beek. Because without those two, you actually everyone goes raving about Bruno Fernandes, Cavani, Rashford, this and that. They look at the goals and stuff like that. But the two main guys, the guys behind the scenes, the main engines of the team, is Fred and Donny Van de Beek. I think Van de Beek is the most underrated player right now because of the way he plays those intricate passes, those one-touch passes, like Rokani said previously. It's like it goes under the radar. We've been missing that a lot with Pogba, especially. The game versus Southampton last season. You saw the way when he received the ball at the back, he gave it away to I think Ward-Prowse nicked it off him and they scored the goal. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing that Donny Van, he'll never do stuff like that. He'll receive the ball very composed, and he'll play a pass. He'll pick out a perfect pass in front, and he'll distribute his ball distribution is really amazing. So that's what we've been missing dearly in our team, and I think we just need to move on with Pogba. Sadly, he's not fitting the system. I think we need to cash in on him and improve different other positions in the team, be it CDM, centre back, or right wing. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the team right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I think obviously Rakana, you said something similar about Pogba saying we need to move on from him. I personally, I'd agree with that. I think realistically, we mention it so often on this channel, but obviously, we've seen he has got talent, but realistically, I think it's been so long now that, especially with the players we've got right now, I don't see him working out in the long term in this team. And if he isn't going to work out in the long term, then realistically, we're better selling him. We're better selling him sooner rather than later, if you know what I mean. But I am going to have to wrap this stream up very, very soon. But Graham, I want to ask you about the PSG game itself before we just ask both of you for your score predictions. So I feel like the kind of gist of what people have been saying so far is that I think people are quietly confident going into this game, especially because PSG have got all the pressure on them. Do you feel the same way?
I think the pressure is more on us to go out and finish the group on a high. PSG will just be looking to replicate exactly what they did last season when they came. Was it last season? Yeah, last season when they came and they won at Old Trafford. So they'll be just looking to replicate that. And with Marquinhos and Verratti in their team, I think they'll be really confident actually, because those two can just own the midfield and be very confident on the ball and give them what they lacked in the first when we played them at their home. So that's something that we have to be really wary about and keep them quiet. I really think that Verratti and Marquinhos can win them the game tomorrow. So it's going to be really important that we keep them quiet. And also, I just think that Ole needs to be spot on with. Hello. Yeah. I think I'm getting a bit of feedback from.
There might be a little bit of an echo, I'm sure. I don't know what that's coming from. If I remove this one and then carry on, Graham.
Yeah, so I really think Ole needs to be spot on with his team selection tomorrow, and he can't move away from the midfield three. He can add in extra defensive midfielder or go with an extra attacker, but he needs to have Fred, Bruno, and Van de Beek in the team. Same thing everyone's been talking about. So we need to start confidently, and I think we can beat them tomorrow, and hopefully we do.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be massive for us if we do win. Obviously, it basically mean that we're. It'll mean that pretty well we'll probably qualify top of the table, which is obviously what you want, especially with the draws as well. But finally, I'll ask you guys your score prediction before we get out of here. Rakani, what if you had to predict the scoreline tomorrow? Obviously, it's very, very difficult. But if you had to predict, what would you go with?
3-1 Manchester United.
3-1. I like that a lot. I'll take that. To be fair, I feel like a lot of people are going to be predicting that we'll concede at least one goal, just because PSG are so good going forward that it does feel very hard to predict United to keep a clean sheet. But I would take 3-1. I mean, I'd take 1-0 with a Bruno Fernandes penalty after the final whistle. I mean, that would be brilliant. I'd love that. Kasai wanted me to read out his prediction. He goes with a 2-1 PSG. Oh, Kasai, man. To be fair, he did say that he thought we were going to lose the game, but yeah, just 2-1 PSG. Fair enough. I could see us losing the game potentially, especially because we're on a bit of a run of form and we're very inconsistent anyway. But Graham, you've got the final say. What is your score prediction?
I'm going for a 3-2. Braced by Cavani and Rashford to score too.
Hey, I hope so. Rashford to get back on form. Hopefully he does. Sifo, by the way, is our resident Arsenal fan as well. He's joined. He says, "RIP your defence tomorrow." Listen, as an Arsenal fan, I can't let you speak like that, mate. As an Arsenal fan, I mean, stay in your lane, my friend. Stay in your lane. 7-1 PSG says. But yeah, anyway, thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it, and thanks to everyone who's been commenting. Make sure you do subscribe to United Social Television as well. Brilliant stuff on there.
And we are coming live.
Go on.
And I'm going to be live in the next one hour.
All right, well, go check it out. I mean,
Boom.
content already, live content already on United Social Television. So make sure straight after this, make sure you go over and check it out and like, subscribe, all that good stuff, as well as Rich's channel as well, Rich Sports, and Daz, who was on earlier as well. But thanks for joining, guys. Really appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. Hopefully, we'll be talking about United qualifying for the next round of the Champions League. And not talking about some poor performance. Hopefully we can actually put up a good performance, and if we do that, I'm sure we'll get the 3 points. But thank you to everyone for joining, really appreciate it. And I'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully after a good result. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in a bit.